Thank you, Mike. Thank you all for joining us today to launch Ireland's participation in the Green Cities for Europe initiative. On behalf of Bord Bia, I'm delighted to welcome the Minister of State for Land Use and Biodiversity, Pippa Hackett, who has physically joined us here in Bord Bia headquarters for this afternoon's launch. I would also like to welcome our partners in the Irish chapter of More Green Cities for Europe, the Irish Hardy Nursery Stock Association, and we look forward to hearing from their chairperson, Val Farrell, later in the day. And to all of you present virtually, you're most welcome and your presence is very much appreciated. I know, as Mike said, we have public and local authority representatives, politicians, nurseries, landscapers, architects, academics and the media all joining us today. I hope this will be a meaningful step in our engagement over the coming years to make progress in greening our cities and urban areas. To start, I'd like to introduce you to Bord Bia, more specifically in relation to our role in the Irish horticulture and the Irish amenity market. Back in 2004, 10 years after our establishment, Bord Bia assumed responsibility for the development and promotion of the Irish horticulture industry. Bord Bia's mission in relation to horticulture is to grow the success of a world-class horticulture industry by providing strategic market development, promotion and information services. We act as a link between Irish horticulture suppliers and existing and potential customers throughout the world. In terms of marketing and promoting, Bord Bia's Bloom event is our most notable and well-known activation. Hopefully, many of you will be familiar with the event, which is typically held in the Phoenix Park, Dublin each year over the June bank holiday weekend. In addition to Bloom, we run a number of business development programmes to improve marketing skills of Irish growers and to assist with export development. Bord Bia also runs a sustainable assurance scheme for the sector. Consumers and retailers alike now demand produce that has been grown, handled, packaged and transported to the highest standards of quality and hygiene in a clean and sustainable manner. The Bord Bia Sustainable Horticulture Assurance Scheme has been developed to provide certified members, including amenity producers, with a means to prove to customers that they are meeting these demands. And finally, Bord Bia is responsible for conducting regular research on consumer and trade issues in amenity horticulture. To that end, 2020 was an extraordinary year for the Irish amenity market. Travel restrictions and lockdowns resulted in a surge in demand for hardy nursery stock, flowering plants and hard landscaping products. Gardening became a new pastime for many people, and this is clearly reflected in the increased spending on related products. The value of the Irish gardening market was reported at €1.2 billion. We've been tracking this spend for 2 decades, and the figures reported last year were the highest since measurement began on this study. This increased interest in gardening has also spurred increased expectations from those of us who live and work in cities, and specifically the need for more green spaces in cities. This augurs well for the overall ambition of the Green Cities for Europe initiative. Ireland is one of 13 cities participating in the initiative over the coming 3 years, and Bord Bia is very pleased to be working with the Irish Hardy Nursery Stock Association on this project. At its heart, it aims to increase the proportion of green landscaping in building projects around Ireland. This will be done by highlighting the specific features and characteristics of Irish and EU sustainable nursery stock products such as trees and plants. For us in Ireland, we have high quality Irish nursery stock products and we want to ensure that they're your go-to choice. It's important to emphasise that this initiative is aimed at decision makers like yourselves and not the general public. In March, the government approved the Climate Action Bill, which will commit us as a country to pursue and achieve the transition to a climate resilient, biodiversity rich, environmentally sustainable and climate neutral economy no later than 2050. Achieving this involves change by every sector. Those involved in planning and construction have a particularly significant responsibility and influence on realising this target. Our aim, through our participation in More Green Cities for Europe, is that all new construction developments will have a green landscaping element and that this will be done using Irish nursery stock plants. Minister of State Pippa Hackett and her colleagues have been strong advocates of the use of well-being indicators in economic decision-making. Factors such as public health, mental health and environmental issues will be key determinants. Greening our cities achieves all of these well-being indicators. We believe it is desirable and achievable, and best of all, we have the quality Irish plants necessary to achieve this on our doorstep. Following today's launch, and over the next 2 years, we will continually be reaching out to decision makers such as yourselves, planners, landscape architects, developers and policymakers to communicate the economic, environmental and social benefits of green landscaping and championing good examples of it. We will encourage decision makers to use our excellent Irish plants, thereby supporting environmental and economic sustainability. We will do this through a series of webinars, regional and national events, supported by an always-on social media and public relations campaign. We will shortly be launching details of the inaugural Irish Green Cities Award, which will be given to a best practice example of green landscaping, as well as details of the overall More Green Cities for Europe competition. You can keep up to date with all of these announcements on our Green Cities LinkedIn account and social media channels. We all have a responsibility to try and safeguard Ireland's natural and urban environments for future generations. To this end, today, I would appeal to you to engage with us on the More Green Cities for Europe campaign to see what ideas, information and expertise we can offer to support you in this endeavour. So thank you for your time, ladies and gentlemen, and back to you, Mike.